Well,
Yeah.
good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome, everybody, to Rowdies Live on the Rock and Roll Rowdies
Rowdies
channel.
Yeah.
The inaugural live stream that I've been involved with on the Rock and Roll Rowdies channel. Welcome, everybody out there. Thank you for joining us. If you're out there, leave a like, share the stream out, subscribe to the channel. We're going to try and get over 500 subs today. You're at 490. We're at 490. We need to get up to 500. And leave chats for the guys so you can talk to them. But yeah, welcome everybody. Hope you're all having a great day. My name is Brian, That 70s Rock Fan. I will be your host, but the show belongs to these beautiful gentlemen here, these sexy men, the Rock and Roll Rowdies. How are you guys?
Champo.
Good.
From all over the world. You guys are everywhere. But for the benefit of those out there who are not au fait with you, I'd like to introduce you all one by one, and then we'll talk about your story, and then we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to go clockwise. I am going to start with the wonderful Mr. Mark Emery. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. Nice to see you, Brian.
Good to see you, my friend. I'm right in saying I think that you're the only non-northern barbarian in the team.
I am the only northern barbarian. Apart from all my blood is actually from Liverpool, so I am actually I do qualify, but yeah, I'm brought up. I'm living in Devon, the south.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm broadcasting from. Here
Yes.
in Devon.
So you're in Devon. You're not from the monkey strangling capital of the world, Hartlepool, then.
No, I'll leave that to Wilco and Granny and Mal.
I would like. Yeah, so I'll move on to the next sexy-looking gentleman. It's the very wonderful Alan Granny Grange. And what's it all about, Alfie?
Yeah, you tell it. You tell me. Here I am in Southern California. Somehow or other, I drifted headlong from Hartlepool to Hollywood. Somehow in between, there's lots of stories. I should point out something, even though Mark's not from the north of England. We love him like a brother. He's from like the Appalachia of England, for people, like a bit of a hillbilly country, you know, West Country type. The Trogs are from there. So just to put that in perspective. But yeah, looking forward to everybody having fun with our show. Please pass the questions.
Good to see you, buddy. Thank you for being here. So we got Dustin. Dustin is going to join me to give me a little bit of a hand soon. Our great friend Dustin, to keep it simple. Good to see you, mate. And my brother, my internet brother, Darius Munchausen, is here. Also good to see you, my friend.
Darius.
And another fellow Canadian, because I'm a Canadian as well. Lord Thoth, a very good friend of mine. Good to see you, my friend. So all onwards to the next one of the rowdies that I'd like to introduce, Mr. Mal Craggs. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad to see everybody here tonight or today, wherever it is. I'm in Kent, in the southeast coast of England, overlooking the British Channel. I can see France. On Live Aid Day, anniversary of Live Aid.
Oh, is it the anniversary today? That's why the Phil Collins feed was posting stuff about Live Aid. And I replied with a picture of you, Mal, backstage with the very man himself, Mr. Phil Collins. So,
okay.
And I'm sure they took great notice of my tweet. So you can see France from there. Are you feeling like invading it, or?
No, I'm drinking it.
You're drinking it, right? You do seem to have a bit of a rag behind you on the wall, though. There's something wrong with your wall. There's some kind of weird rag.
This is just to let everybody know where I'm coming from. England.
Okay.
England, yes. Not like there's the rest of these Anglophiles, you know.
Didn't you tell me your family
and Mark? You know, Mark's in a different part of the world, down there in Devon. You know, it's
a foreign country.
That's out there, mate. That is out there.
Well, he's more Gaelic than like the French Gaels.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
that was really French Celtic Gaelic down there.
Like
Kel-
garlic.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Vikings, everybody's been there. You know,
Yeah.
they're a bastard nation. You know,
Before we move on to Wilco, you were telling me beforehand that your family helped build Hadrian's Wall. Is that right, Mal?
yeah, we come from a long line of bricklayers and tunnelers. You know, and that's we helped build Hadrian's Wall.
Are they ever going to finish it?
One day, you know, Brexit has changed things.
You got to build the wall again. Yeah.
I think
you got to have a passport to go to
Hey,
Scotland.
Pink Floyd did it. You know, I
Yeah.
worked with Pink Floyd. You know,
Just like to welcome John Das Wolfen. How are you, buddy? Good to see you here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Make sure you hit that like button on the Rock and Roll Rowdies there, and make sure you subscribe and share the stream out. We appreciate you all being very much. This is early days. We're going to build this show and build it and build it. And
we are.
but I'd like to welcome last and very much equal to everybody. He's the very wonderful Derek Wilco Wilkinson, who's currently experiencing
guys.
some problems. How are you, buddy?
Up in Hartlepool.
Paul, you've got your handler behind you too, because you need one, don't you?
Yeah, you know, went to Tall Ships. Had a great time up here. I'm going to go and see Mr. Emery on Saturday.
Nice.
Do some more recordings.
Bring your passport.
Yeah, I'm going to bring my passport. You know, Brexit really messed that up.
Yeah. Now, Wilco, my friend, I'm not saying you're the oldest of the Rowdies. I'm not even playing anything, but your career does go quite far back. And I actually found a cave drawing of you with your first band that you road managed.
Yeah, you would.
I love it.
So how were those guys? Were they good? Did they have a lot of gear? Or?
Well, there's Mark Emery, there's Granny, there's Mal, and there's Connor. You know, they're all there. Same old nonsense.
This was found in a cave in France, so you know it's
Yeah.
Rock and roll rowdy Stone Age.
Yeah. Bone
Stoned
age.
But it's good to see you, my friend. I hope you're feeling okay. I know you like
Yeah,
me,
my
but
knees, you know, Mark Emery reversed into me 2 months ago, and I'm still hobbling
they-
around.
Bring that
an
up.
accident. They call it.
Yeah, it was an accident. Yeah, he ran me over. It was a
I was
really
pissed
bad
at the
accident,
time.
right now?
I was pissed at the time.
But no,
I'm a
everything's
witness,
good.
Will.
Back-
I'm a
my back's
witness.
good.
I think there's an insurance clause. Sue. You should sue him. I mean, you've lived in California. Sue the hell out of him.
No, I'm from Hartlepool. I'm going to go down there and give him a loafing. You know, it's the only way to get around this shit. You know,
Yeah.
he's
Anyway,
not going to get out of the. If that takes too long, it'll take me 2 minutes. It's be all over. You know?
But it's awesome to see you, mate. So we've got someone in Hartlepool. We got someone in Turkey. We got someone in Deal. Is it Deal? Am I right?
Deal. Yeah.
And we got someone in California and someone in Canada. So are we
Global.
global or what?
Now, can anybody
Global,
tell us which
mate.
one's in California?
I think it's the one that's got the weird shirt on.
He's
Tom
got his
Selleck.
pajamas on.
It's the Tom
Oh
Selleck
my
lookalike.
God. Well, look at that tan.
You don't want to see what I've got below the waist, let me tell you.
Yeah, he's probably naked. I bet he's
I
got his
don't think they-
underwear on.
Maybe put it on the table.
Is the
Yeah,
camera
flop.
big enough for that? Is the camera big enough to handle
Little
it? I
wide
don't know.
angle.
He's got big feet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you guys have been so good to me to have, you know, to guest on my channel and on my shows, and we've had some wonderful chats. So I thought it's about time we do it on your channel, and let's see, as I say, if we can get the Rowdies thing going. What we intend to do, forgive me if I speak on your behalf, is, you know, we'll obviously build this up as a regular live show, get on some guests that are your other roadie friends like Willie and Colin and Kevin and Peter Donovan, who I'm speaking to soon, and then maybe even some of the artists as time goes by. So, you know, because you guys have worked with the cream,
sure.
you've worked with the cream of rock history. If I could put it that way, I'm not overdoing it either, am I?
No.
No.
I always say I worked with the Premiership I refer it to in soccer terms. I'm using the term soccer. I worked with the Premiership, and I'm very proud of that. You know.
Yeah, but
People
which
like-
team in the Premiership?
Which team?
Yeah, Liverpool.
Liverpool. Yeah.
So yeah, you've
Hartlepool.
Hartlepool, Liverpool, anything with a pool, anything with a pool in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm dyslexic, so that's why I picked Liverpool.
yeah.
I just couldn't spell.
So you're Liverpool, Hartlepool, and Granny's swimming pool because he's in California.
Oh,
And Mark, you're Manchester United.
oh no.
Just
I'm
a guess.
Liverpool also, actually.
Liverpool's-
Yeah, Liverpool blood, mate. It's running through my veins.
Yeah.
Cool. That's the
Yeah.
pool. Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, we're all lovers of the Beatles, I believe. So that's a
Oh,
subject.
Well,
absolutely.
I think that's why I should start to support Liverpool because, you know, being a child, you know, in the 60s and the Beatles happening, obviously my vision was drawn towards Liverpool and everything about it. So I just start to, you know, watch Liverpool as a football team.
To Wilco's
and
credit,
I haven't
Wilco's-
changed.
Wilco
I'm
still
still there.
supports Hartlepool, even though they're always bottom of the bottom division.
No,
Doesn't make any
I still
difference.
look out for them.
Yeah.
True loyalty. That's true loyalty,
Yeah.
though.
I used to
Yeah.
be the ball boy. I used to sell programs in the 60s. They
Yeah.
never got the money, but you know, it's something I did.
What money? What money?
What money?
Money?
I mean, what programs? Am I supposed to give you the money for these? I thought it was a freebie.
Was it me, Gov? That
Yeah.
guy over there. Yeah.
But you know,
Uh,
we all to get the going, we all basically went down to London 69, 70. And it all started picking up from there with meeting different bands. You know, you've interviewed Willie Fife, Colin Hart, you know, all those guys. And going to Speakeasy and Marquee and just hanging out with musicians that you just never thought you'd meet. And here we are drinking with them. And then all of a sudden the tour started, you know.
Yeah, and when you look at on all the shows we've done, the list of artists and bands that you guys have worked with, it's pretty much covers. And even if it was just on a 1 or 2 gig basis, it pretty much covers everybody in the classic rock firmament, and also branching out into all sorts of areas like prog rock and soul and funk, and you know, you've done festivals and you name it. Some of the biggest events, like Granny's got did the Rumble in the Jungle, you know, things like that.
I'm purely envious. I'm really envious of that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only thing is I've still got the rumble in my guts because of it. I drank the water.
Yeah, and Mark's a musician too, and has toured with his own bands, and you know, and produced and stuff. So I mean, you guys have got just such an incredible range.
You know, it's a long career. It's, you know, it spans a lot of time and the different eras of it. You know, but when we were first in London, we all knew and got to know like the Average White Band, who were in previous bands, Glencoe and I forget what Hamish's band was. Was it something?
Dream Police.
Dream
Dream Police.
Forevermore.
Yeah, Forevermore and all those bands, and I already knew Wishbone Ash from Torbay, from down this area, because you know, they originated from there before they moved to London and formed. But yeah, the White Band, in a way, that was like, you know, we all knew them before, and then, you know, but you know, Granny went off to work with different bands, Van der Graaf, but the core was the White Band and all the people associated, Norman Watt-Roy, and all those guys. You know, they were all part of that sort of that team.
Yeah, I know the Wishbone Ash and Average White Band, as you say, feature very largely in the history of all of you guys. Did you all work with those bands at the same time, or
No?
Not all of us together. I think
Oh.
I worked with Average White Band. I think with Granny. I'm not sure, Granny or Wilco at one point, and I worked with Wishbone, with Mark and Granny, You know, so it was always that revolving thing. You know,
Can you remember a time then, or a gig that you all actually did work together in the same for the same band or artist? Maybe
The
one gig even.
nearest would be in '75. Mark and Mal and me did the Wishbone Ash Star Trucking tour. We worked, the
Yeah.
three of us. That was,
Right.
Wilco never was there. So
no,
that's the
he was
closest we
lazy.
can get.
He was a lazy
never worked
bastard.
for
He
Wishbone.
wouldn't get out of bed.
Couldn't be.
Yeah,
No,
but
it's
some
like
of
I
those-
met Mark in '72 at Ali Pali, which is Alexandra Palace. And what we all did, not just us, but every other roadie out there back in the '70s, we used to help each other out, load trucks, unload trucks, because there was no union. The promoters were just getting into it as well as we were, you know. So we all would just turn up, and it was a couple of days off. It was like, you know, Granny would turn up, I would turn up, he would turn up. But that's when I met Mark Emery, was in 1972 with Wishbone Ash. And I went there to help put the gear in with Ali Pali.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness! I mean, look right at the
Oh,
young
Speaking of
Nicholas.
Star
Show that
Trekking,
picture, Brian.
I believe this is Star
Yeah,
Trekking.
Belgium. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
Antwerpen.
stretching denim to its absolute physical limits.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a banana down there. Where's that, Kelsey? You get that from the green room or what?
Where do you think Wham got that thing from?
That's
You know,
right. So yeah, it's a bit wham-like, isn't it? Really? Yeah. It's Mal and Granny there. And then so I've got all these great photographs that we've shared before, and I've been busy organising them behind the scenes. So we'll always be able to call on them when it's necessary. You've all been so kind to share stuff like that.
Oh my God! There we go.
That was Granny. If there was a definite period, that was
was it.
Granny.
Yeah,
That
You're
was
talking to
Wilco.
Alan these days, but that was Granny.
that was Granny.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
this guy.
rather large amount of drinking going on.
You mean this guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God!
He's probably
That's too
working. You
funny.
must have been working for Stackridge at that time, because that's the kind of look that they had.
No, he was with Ellis, I
I think
believe.
it was
right?
Oh, was
Steve
it Ellis?
Yeah,
Steve
Ellis.
Money and Steve Ellis, but same period. It's
So-
all 70 to 75 was nuts.
And that's one of the things I love about the fact that you guys didn't just work with the big names. You worked with some really neat bands like guys like Steve Ellis, bands like Vinegar Joe, Stackridge, you know, all these other it's not little bands, but they were very unique.
Yeah.
And Vandergraaf and King Crimson, and just these unique acts that I find so fascinating, and are kind of, some of them are kind of buried in history, but we need to
Well,
bring
a
them
lot
up.
of them were in under the same management umbrella as well. You know,
Mm.
so you know, I was working with Wishbone, but like Stackridge was under that.
You get that on the poster.
Ridiculous.
You see, I
Never heard of that.
love that
Never heard of
album. I love that album.
Oh, I wondered when it would make an appearance,
I
Gwen.
still can't pronounce the name, but I love the album.
Nobody can,
Gnidrolog.
I can't spell it.
It's Grinder Log, isn't it?
Gnidrolog.
Grinder
Perfect example
Log.
of early 70s prog rock.
Yeah,
Beautiful album cover.
it is. It's a pretty damn good one. But yeah, I keep calling them Grinder Log, which is a different meaning entirely, I think, in this day and
Yeah,
age of.
yeah, in this day and age.
Yeah, although that picture of Mal and Granny earlier would
Yeah,
be very,
hey,
that would be
you know.
very welcome on Grinder. I think that.
Yeah,
Hey, if you got it,
absolutely. It keeps
flaunt it.
popping up there, Brian. I'm wondering.
It was a hot summer.
It was a hot summer. So, Granny, I want to flip forward to something you just shared with me the other day, because you're still doing you're picking up some gigs.
Yeah.
You were at Anime X, were you
That
not?
was brilliant.
Anime Expo in Los Angeles.
Oh,
yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, and here you are with Mark, who was a fridge, because he is a good guitarist. Mark is a great guitar player, so.
In the box, Mark in the box.
But he didn't want his adoring fans to be mobbing
He didn't
him.
want to be seen with me.
So
blame him.
what was that experience like, doing an anime thing?
Well, I've done it several years, over the years, about 5 or 6 times. And I normally don't want to do it because it's the hottest time of the year. And I'm getting to the point where I want to work smarter than sort of, it's basically a transportation shuttle. But what makes it really fun is that it's a 24 hours a day transportation shuttle, never stops for 4 days. And morning, noon, and night, these incredible characters come out in all of these, everything from science fiction characters to beautiful
there you
angel
go.
types.
Ooh. Very
Lovely.
nice.
Yeah.
So
She thought I was being a bit pervy. I tried not to be. I was trying to be respectful. Like, excuse me, you got a
There's
great
no such
outfit
thing.
and a nice pair of knockers. Do you mind if I take a picture? So
the
they
knockers
kind
were
of think, well, what's
incidental.
it for? I go, it's for my website. You know, what I said, it's called Rock and Roll Rowdies. So I made it sound legitimate.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, they think you've been a bit creepy when you take a picture.
But that's
When you
what they're
walk, when you
there
walk up in a
for.
high-vis jacket, you know, and sort of you look a bit creepy. You know.
Well, they thought I was in an anime outfit with that. See,
You were Bob the Builder. So, I mean, to me, if you're walking around in an outfit like that, cosplaying, it's because you want people to see you and take
Exactly.
photographs of
Yeah,
you and be
confidence.
noticed. So, yeah.
She doesn't look too shy.
But there was an actual sign in the big hotel lobby about the protocols of approaching people that are cosplaying to be respectful of their space, you know, all this PC stuff. So I was being respectful. But being who I am, I'm a big loudmouth. I can't help it.
As long as you ask.
I was polite
permission.
and I got
Yeah.
pictures. I got
Yeah,
some
that
others
was-
I'll send you.
Yeah, it's an interesting setup, but generally speaking, I've been to quite a few sci-fi and comic and fan expo things, and a lot of people dressing up, and a lot of them want to be seen. So,
That's
right.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting you're doing that. I mean, what else are you guys up to individually, Mark? I know you're still gigging quite a bit, are you not? Mark?
I am, yeah. I'm doing quite a bit of playing these days. Just did a gig with my Pink Floyd band. Not the same band that Mal worked for. Different lineup.
Yeah.
But we had a fantastic gig in Leamington Spa, and that's given me the buzz for playing more of that stuff. So
Nice. I don't know how Mal couldn't get you a gig with the real Pink Floyd. I mean, come on. What are friends for?
Replace Dave Gilmour, maybe.
What are friends for?
Sorry, Dave.
Well, Dave might have needed a night off, and you could have just stepped in.
Yeah, it could always be a depth for Dave.
You're a dead
But,
ringer
yeah,
for
no,
the
I'm enjoying,
guitarist.
I'm enjoying playing a lot. I've got a break from Martin Turner mixing sound for
Yeah,
another month now. We've been off for nearly 3 months. We just had a festival cancelled, Cambridge Music Rock Festival, which was a bit of a blow. Cancelled for the 4th of August. It's a major festival, and it's just been cancelled because of some licensing hitch.
Right. So this is Martin Turner of Wishbone Ash. You're still working for Martin Turner as a sound guy?
Still doing that. Well, there's a tour coming up, so I would do it, but I'm more sort of freelance, really. You know, when he's not working, or you know, I don't really want to be doing that all the time. So it's nice to have a sort of 3-month summer break and play and
do your own thing. Yeah, for sure.
Stuff. Yeah.
Cool. And then obviously, Granny, you're doing things like the anime transport stuff.
Yeah, and my next thing is next month is up in Carmel, beautiful part of California. It's Car Week. They have the all the car shows.
Carmel Car Week.
Yeah, and so the Concours d'Elegance, they call it.
Yeah.
So I will be at one of these exclusive resorts, and it's typical. I mean, I just landed this job, and I turn up, and I don't know what I'll be doing sometimes. The guy goes, "Oh, there's the keys for a golf cart. You got to go and keep an eye on this parking lot next to Bonham's auction house. Bonham's have a big tent."
Right. Okay.
And so I go over there, and I'm just kind of in charge, keeping an eye on things. You know, it's just like stage managing, really. Where you going? Where do you need to do this?
Yeah.
And so I've been watching TV Mecum Auto auctions on television, and it's really brash American, like really driving the sales, loud and shouting. And then the first morning I walked over to the Bonham's tent, and it was all like people in Panama hats and white, like the auctioneer had a white suit on and a carnation buttonhole. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. What a beautiful day on the peninsula. We're going to start the bidding today. We have a beautiful 1950s coupe, blah, blah, blah. We'll start the bidding at $250,000, I think. It was all very swish and
high level stuff.
He sold it, ended up selling one car for $3 million, but I have yet to get my commission.
So
the other Camrys.
Have they got any Pintos or
Pacers?
I used to love Pintos. I used to drive them.
Say hello to Clint Eastwood when you're in Carmel, because it's his neck of the woods, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, actually. Yeah, good
So
stuff. Whenever I hear
use a
Bonhams,
little-
though, I always think of John Bonham. I know it's an option.
Yeah, a little bit different.
So do you guys, speaking of Bonzo, you guys must have met Bonzo a number of times at Speakeasy and places like that, maybe? or-
Probably. I
Yeah,
don't
John Bonham.
remember.
John Bonham, and I've never met the guy.
No.
I never met him once.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I know a guy who wrecked his birthday present, a brand new BMW. The roadie that used to work for Zepp, Peppy, and he used to work
Peppy.
alongside a
God,
lot of our
yeah.
guys as
Peppy.
well. Yeah, he was a nightmare, and he had a bit of a tea leaf, old Peppy. Unfortunately, he's passed away now.
Oh, dear.
Through self-indulgent, overdoing it with drugs and everything. But
Did he fall or was he pushed?
well, we don't
He
know.
fell out of the window.
Both.
Chip in.
Holiday Inn. It was right around the same time that Mark Bonham went, wasn't it? It was sort of in that sort of within that period. So
Yeah, there was a lot of that. Yeah, they all seem to
that's
come
the
in.
closest I've got to John Bonham. It's just I knew someone who wrecked his car,
Right, that's the
and he got
connection.
sacked.
Still pretty good story, though.
We used to meet Robert Plant the most because there was a pub called the Golden Lion. It was a roadie hangout, and it was just a few, maybe 100 yards away from the Manticore studios that ELP and Led Zeppelin used to rehearse in. And so it was like a watering hole. And so
yeah.
Robert Plant was always in there. But he came in, he would just be like, oh, this band I'm in, they're driving me nuts. Everybody knew who he was, but he was very mellow. So I met him quite a few times there.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So Wilco, you've been traveling around a bit. Now you're back in Hartlepool. But what have you been up to, mate? You've been everywhere, haven't you?
Well, no, I had 6 weeks in Spain. Helped my friend Andy Goddard, which is from Hartlepool, Bellevue lad, same as myself. I got into Hartlepool 2 weeks ago. I'm leaving Saturday, going down to see Mark in Torquay, Mr. Craggs in Kent, then my sister in Winchester, and I'll be back in Hartlepool probably 6th of August for 2 or 3 weeks. Then I'm going to Europe. I'm going to Germany to see Renata. I'm going to, good news is going to Athens sometime in September. I'm probably hit Italy and maybe go back to Spain. I go back to the USA the 1st of October.
You're just so used to doing a European tour, you can't stop.
Well, I've been working, and I just decided 3 months ago I'm retired. I'm done. I haven't done anything by myself and anything, so I'm leaving. I'm going to go and see my family, my friends, get the podcast up and running, and it's all been great. I mean, I can't wait to see Craigsy and Emery. Actually, the family's been like, it gets like that. I've got 4 brothers and 4 sisters. And I can't see my kneecaps right now because I've been drinking since I've been here for 2 weeks. I mean, never mind seeing my little.
Do you really want to see them, though? I mean, do you really want to see
Cameron's, Wilco?
Oh yeah, Cameron's.
Yeah.
There's man right here.
Yeah,
Let's have a look.
Nectar of the gods. Nectar of the gods.
We were down at the
Cameron's
Globe
strong
yesterday,
arm.
Granny.
We're at the Globe yesterday, Grinch.
So
Cameron's
is that a
strong
beer?
arm.
Is that beer?
Yeah.
Ooh, is
Yeah.
it?
From Hartlepool.
All right. What is it, like a brown ale or
Yeah.
It's like a brown ale?
It was
Yeah.
brewed for the steel workers. The original logo was a guy like a blacksmith kind of thing.
I see.
You get a
Never heard
head
of
on
it.
it, that
Oh,
big
man,
Brian.
beer.
An independent brewery. There's not many of them left.
No, there certainly
You finish
isn't.
your pint, the head's still like this.
Yeah.
In the bottom
I've
of the
got some
pint.
pictures. I can send you pictures of the beer. When they draw the beer, there's a head on it like 6 inches high. You just drink your face in through the foam, Love it.
So just how important is beer to being a road manager?
It's essential.
It's fluid.
It's the lubricant.
Yeah. It's like oil.
It kept those wheels turning.
Yeah. For you, maybe for the band, you would wish they drink a little bit less of it at times.
Yeah.
Well, the first gig myself and Granny ever did, I invited him along with this band, Hartlepool, and KT's Engine, and Granny turned up at the Rainbow. And we had cases of beer backstage, and he was told it was free. So You know,
Well,
the-
yeah.
you know, that pig and shit. He went for
Free
it.
beer.
You know, and got himself in trouble, chasing all the girls and all the boys chasing him
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So
because
free
they
beer.
were the boyfriends of the girls he was chasing.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
dangerous words.
And
Free
he's
beer.
never changed. He's never
No,
changed
I was
since.
just about to say,
You know,
no difference.
He's still chasing the girls. He just can't catch up with them
That's it.
anymore.
he
Yeah,
can't
that's
catch them.
He can't get out of his
and,
wheelchair.
yeah.
So Mal, what are you up to these days? I know you've kind of retired completely. You don't feel the
Yeah,
need to do
I'm
anything.
retired. I'm chilling. You know, I'm doing bits and pieces. I'm trying to write a book. You know, I've just completed my first 6,000 words yesterday. I didn't
All
work
right.
on it today, but I'm trying to write a book about all of this.
Better hurry up.
Okay. Right.
I know.
Yeah, 'cause we
Just
can't
chuck
wait.
it all in Chat GPT.
You know,
let it do
it's
it.
not. I mean, it's not for a commercial reason. It's more for social family history more
Yeah.
than anything. You know, so
Yeah.
my grandchildren and their grandchildren can look back and say, "This is what your grandfather did. This is what your great grandfather
Kind of
did."
neat. Yeah.
You
And
know.
how much of these guys are going to be in the book?
Oh, they're in the, yeah, they're there from the
All right,
start.
good.
They're
That's
definitely
a history for
all
them
three,
too.
all three of them have been heavily mentioned.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
and the thing is, you've got a lot of photographs, and I know that Granny, you're a bit of an archivist. You got a ton of stuff, so
Yeah.
that could all be in there too, I guess.
Yeah, being a
yeah,
train spotter.
yeah, photographs with kind permission of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Mal,
I've got
you're a
all kinds of little weird bric-a-brac because I never lost that curiosity. Really, I mean, I've still got little. This will sound ridiculous, as a lot of my stuff is. When you rent a car someplace, you'd get a map to go with the car. I've still got loads of that kind of thing, and I kept like
Anal.
sleeves that you
Anal.
kept your rental agreement
You
in. And
friggin' anal.
I've got
Anorak.
but
Agreed.
I'm a bit of a collector, and so it's
I've
all in
seen-
these diaries.
I've seen television shows about guys like you. You know, they've got an entire place stacked to the roof with stuff, and they have to end up coming and burning it all.
Well, look, I'll
Yeah.
look around if I can get.
I sold all mine.
Aye.
I
Most of
sold
my
it. I
stuff
made
is-
money from it.
Yeah,
Grange is just
a lot of my stuff is just quirky, weird stuff, but
Oh,
it was
it's
just
good
it's a
though.
little snapshot
It's
of the
just-
time when we were first traveling. You know, your first flight on a 747, that was a big friggin' deal. So you
It
kept
was.
your boarding pass from that.
Yeah, see,
Pan
I've
Am
got the
flight
memories of
55 to Boston. Ooh.
I just wanted
I've
to
got the
say hello
memories
to
of me and Dave Vicky sitting at the back eating everything that the stewardesses gave us. We would just, yes, keep bringing it.
Oh, that's me too. I just whatever you've got, keep it coming.
Yeah, whatever you've got, keep bringing it. Keep bringing it.
Another drink? Yeah, of course. You know?
Absolutely. 1970, wherever it was,
Yeah.
71, 72, Jumbos had just started
Now,
flying.
When
You know-
when you guys did that, then were they still serving drinks? Like, did they pour it in the glass, or did they give you miniatures?
They got a lot of miniatures back then, but it was endless. You could have as many as you like.
Yeah, you could have as many as you wanted.
I don't know what about you guys, but when it was me and I started doing flights like that, and they would give everybody one miniature. Whenever they came to me, they'd say, "Here's a few," like one look at me, and they'd say,
Scottish.
Yeah, like I didn't ask for it, but they would give me like 4 each
It's,
time.
it's that look that you got. Like,
We were just
Scottish-
anticipating.
You
It's
just
the
got-
accent.
And
The
Hey,
then,
accent.
then
I was in the
told-
pub the other day and I met one of your girlfriends.
All right, hang on. I'm just gotta show this.
Kamala
go.
Harris.
Hang on, I can't see
Well,
that. There
you're
you go.
doing a good job there. Oh,
Yeah. How did you get that picture of my sister? My sisters are going to kill me for saying that if they ever
Oh,
watch this. Well, I mean, the thing is, after 10 beers,
Who cares?
yeah.
and they're saying the same about you.
The difference between a dog and a fox. 3
Yeah.
beers, right?
So I just wanted to say hi to Phil Ruffle.
Hey, Phil.
Hey,
Hi, Phil Ruffle. How are you, buddy?
hey, Phil.
Hey,
He just
Phil.
wants to send his
I'm
love.
going back to see him in September.
All right, nice. Well, hey,
Yeah.
Phil, thanks for coming to the stream. Leave a like and all that good stuff. And
I'll
it's
give you a
good to
quick
see you.
story on Phil. I've known for a long, long time, but he came and worked with us on the last Genesis tour,
Yeah.
and he's going to hate me for saying this, telling you this, but he was working with me, and he was driving the band around, and we played Manchester, and it was an extremely foggy night. And at the end of the night, just because of timing, I said, take Phil back to the hotel, right? And he went, oh, no, I don't want to. I said, no, I've got to wait to get everybody else out. You take Phil's ready now. You take Phil. They got lost.
Oh.
It was, there was no sat nav back then. They got lost in this fog in Manchester. They arrived back at the hotel about 30, 40 minutes after we did, and we left 30 or 40 minutes after them. Luckily, I had somebody from Manchester in the car with me, to direct, but
So you never put two
Phil
Phils
was
Phils
fuming.
together. Never put two Phils together is what you're saying.
Two Phils together,
You
yeah.
never cross the streams.
Oh man, he'll laugh about. He'll be pissed off that I've told you that.
I've actually got a clip of you and Phil that you're just talking about.
Looks like Chuck's taken old One Eye to the optometrist.
Yeah,
He looks just like Mal.
Yeah, Mal sent me a lot. You've sent me a lot of wonderful pictures of you and Phil Collins and whatever. And it's you and royalty, you and King Charles.
Oh,
you're very
yeah.
tight.
hey,
You're very tight with. I'm going to see if I
King
can get this
Charles
up on the screen.
and Princess Anne. Now the Princess Anne one is at Ibrox Stadium.
Oh, give a break.
Hey.
That's
Hey.
Malky.
No. Which is the national stadium? Ibrox.
Hamden.
It might have been
Hamdump Park.
Hamden. But yeah,
Hamdump Park.
but
Hang on,
that one is at Wembley. This one is in Scotland, and it was for a charity.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Have you still got that denim jacket?
No,
that would be neat.
I don't.
I was going to say you could donate it to me if you didn't want it.
No, I got rid of everything.
Yeah.
Literally, I got rid of everything. I think I've got one tour pass and half a dozen discs left on my walls.
Yeah. Did you
And
keep
a few photographs.
Did you keep Princess Anne?
Princess Anne.
No, you got rid of her too.
She was trying to pull me that night. I'm
Bet
telling
she
you,
was.
she was on the pull.
Of course she was.
This is the picture I posted on Twitter earlier, backstage at
Oh.
Live Aid.
Live Aid.
That's the Sunset Market.
38 years ago today,
Yeah,
and there's me.
that's right.
That's
I don't know what
half
you're.
my lifetime ago.
I think you're pointing at the toilets.
The stage is that way, yeah.
You're pointing at the toilets. But you guys have sent me so many great pictures of you all together, and I'm going through them all, cataloging them so I can find them easier in the future. Actually, here's a good one. This is quite a neat one.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Reunion.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's going to put that together at the nursery.
Yeah.
I like that one.
2006.
Oh, that's 2006. God, see, I'm
Yeah.
going to have to reach out to you guys to catalog them properly because I don't know the years for all
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Grange had obviously had more drinks than me and Wilco.
Look.
Yeah, look at the eyeballs.
Yeah, look
One-
at that.
Yeah.
They
Look
say
at
the
it.
camera never lies.
The camera never lies, except all the time. The camera always lies. This was actually a neat one you sent me the other day. Look at that tash.
Yeah.
At first I thought it was Wilco, but it's actually Tom Selleck. But
Yeah.
You know, that was in LA, and Tom Selleck was there, and he had a guy with him looking after him.
Yeah.
And when he was going out to watch the show, the seats we had reserved for him, he said, "Can you send some extra security to look after Tom?" We
right.
went, look at him. He's 6'13",
He
built
needs
like
security.
a brick shithouse. Why does he need security to look after him? Everybody's here to see Phil Collins. They're not here to see Tom Selleck. You know.
Well, I know. Hey, Phil Ruffles actually contradicting your story somewhat of of that night with Phil Collins. He's saying you got pissed and dumped him.
No, I had to drive back, so I wasn't pissed. I drove
Well, pissed me in the drive back.
Rutherford and Banks back.
All right, yeah.
The mists of time. Yeah.
Yeah, the mists of time. Yes, a lot of stories change, don't they? Like all
Oh,
four
the
Beatles have got different
The
stories.
conception, the perception, or whatever it's called, memories, memory lapse.
There is an image where I was trying to, you're going to think I'm really stupid and I should know exactly who this is, but I was trying to figure.
I could name everybody.
Yep.
Right. So who have we got here?
We got Les Taylor, Peter Rutter. What's his name?
Yeah, he was from Nottingham. Remember, he was the first bass player.
He was the bass player on Virginia Plain.
Rick
Kenton.
Rick Kenton, yeah.
Alan Place, Alan Granny Grange, Mel Craigs, and Dave Usher.
Yeah, I was trying to identify everybody in this. I was finding it difficult, mainly because I didn't know who the guys on the left were.
That was the second band me and Mal worked for. The first band was a 3-piece called The Engine, and then they morphed into the kind of 4-piece band. So you had 4 in the band and 2
So
roadies.
who is this? Sorry,
this is The Engine from
the
Hartlepool.
Engine, right? Okay, now
So
I
they
can
started
catalog it.
as KT's Engine, which was like a trio. I got pictures of them. And then they turned into a kind of a Jeff Beck, Rod Stewart kind of heavy rock outfit. And this was, we moved to London. This is when we just moved to London.
Yeah, so like a 3-piece with 6 members. The best trio. Power trio. That's a real power trio.
Right.
Well,
how many's in the trio?
Yeah.
Tonight?
Thank you for telling me, because I was trying to figure out who those guys were, other than the fact I recognized a couple of you guys. But
And Rick was the bass player, and like I say, he played on Virginia Plain with Roxy Music.
Roxy Music, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I heard Roxy Music mentioned by one or two of you guys before. I guess you bumped into them a few times.
The drummer was from Newcastle.
Yeah, it was a Geordie.
Paul.
What was his name? Thompson? Somebody Thompson?
Paul Thompson?
Yeah.
Paul Thompson?
Paul Thompson, the drummer. Yeah.
He was a great guy, actually.
Yeah.
But Plum used to hang out with them a lot in London. And that I met him a couple of times, But also they were down the Marquee, and were also in the Speakeasy a lot.
Right.
Yeah, Roxy Music, I don't know. I mean, obviously they're still quite influential. I loved them a lot. And I actually liked them in the early days, but I also liked the later, more kind of laid back stuff, what you would call the lounge era later with Avalon and all that. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Beautiful
music. Brian Ferry. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
They're a pretty awesome band. We did a festival with them somewhere in the Midlands, and they came on, and I'd never seen them or heard of them at that time. But because of the strangeness of their lineup, and they had a sax player as well, and it just had a really unusual sound. I thought they were brilliant.
Yeah, very slick. Very slick, very professional.
Yeah. Eno was a real character. Yeah,
most bands then,
all the hair cream flying everywhere as well.
Well, most bands then were into the guitar solo thing, and these were a bit like Yes. They were so different to all the other bands. They were a refreshing change. There were so many guitar-based bands. It was always fun to see more various.
Yeah, they were modern, weren't they? They were morphing into the sort of computer-based keyboard sounds and stuff like that.
Very new wavy in a pre-new wave way.
They were late 70s.
I know. I remember when Gary Tibbs joined them as bass player. He was in the Vibrators, one of my favorite punk bands, and then he joins. Next minute, he's in Roxy Music, with a better suit.
Yeah.
But yeah, great, fantastic band. One of the things I'd like to do with you guys, not today, but going forward, is we're going to do shows probably talk about specific bands, both bands you've worked with, but just bands that you want to talk about, because you guys have, you've got opinions on the music as well. It wasn't just you worked with people, so I do want to explore that with you going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Like there's like Roxy Music. There's a band that we could talk about easily for an hour and a half. So, but I mean, we do want to do, this is for the benefit of everybody watching, specific shows about acts that you've worked with. I know we're definitely going to do Average White Band, Wishbone Ash, and talk about their careers and all the great memories you've got with them, because you spent a lot of time with those bands, and maybe not all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and of course,
all in the sort of
Cumulative
early
years.
days. They were they were the bands that sort of took us into the next level as well. You know, I mean, from going around London with lots of different smaller bands, and then gradually getting onto bigger tours, and then the White Band had their fantastic success with Pick Up the Pieces and shot Wilco into stardom.
Mhm.
You know,
oh yeah,
you couldn't talk to him then. He was Mr. Armani suits and
he
sort
had
of.
his folders with
You had to make an
Mr.
appointment.
Know-it-all.
You had to
You
make
had
an
to make an
appointment
appointment to talk to him.
yeah.
I was a very busy man. Didn't have time for all the nonsense.
Well,
He
Yeah.
was
Take up
busy
all
doing
your-
nothing.
that's one thing about touring, is that it takes up all your time. You are,
20 hours of a day. 20 hours a day.
and if you're on tour for 6 weeks, and then it never stops. It goes from one to the next, and you're just always busy and always bloody tired and always compensating with
Always
whatever else you
hungover.
can take. Hungover.
Well,
were
the
you
thing
kind
is,
of
with touring,
It's surprised we've all survived. Really, it's amazing. A lot of people
well, it
haven't.
was touring, then you went in the studio to do the next album, then you went touring, then you went in the studio to do the next album, then you went touring, and it was just non-stop.
Did you,
Yeah,
did,
but every
did
now
you
and
kind of
then-
look for it though? I mean, were you always
Yeah.
looking for that next job?
I
That
was.
next
Really,
what?
it was just rolled. It just seemed to have that
Yeah, they
rolling
just-
momentum.
Yeah, they just kind of knocked on your door back then.
Yeah.
No, I never went looking for a job. It was just you opened the door and walked in on one. You
Right.
know,
Mm.
and that's the way it was back then.
Yeah, I mean, I had this thing where my girlfriend went back to her country, and I was thinking, what am I going to do with myself? So I walked down the road from King's Cross Station, and there happened to be a audio company that it might have been Entech, one of the big established companies. I walked in, hey, how you doing? Pretty good. What are you doing tomorrow? I said, nothing. Why? You want to do Linda Lewis, do Out Front Sound?
Mm.
All right. So I did about a week's work. I went to Linda Lewis's house to pick her up, and her mother was telling me, "This is my daughter. She's a star. Make sure you look after her, mate." I'll take
Love
care
to
of her."
Love, is that
That
is
was
that
what it was
Linda
like.
Lewis?
You just pop in a pub for a pint, or you'd be just passing something, and a gig was thrown at you, and you would have a go. I think that's what we like about it. We weren't intimidated. Oh, it could be intimidating, but we'd have a go at anything.
Oh, Linda Lewis. Okay, yeah. Sorry,
We just lost her recently. She lived just up the road from me.
She was an East End girl when I was with her.
Yeah. She lived up the road, 10 miles away from me, up in Ramsgate.
Mm.
I remember her
and I
now.
bumped into her last year at this little food festival up there in Ramsgate, and wandering around, and there she was, and recognized her and everything.
Unfortunately, she passed away in May. I didn't know that.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
That's a real shame.
I know. Yeah,
Got to hurry up with that book, Mal. Got to
It's
hurry up.
Linda Lewis, yeah.
I know. I've got the type away, mate.
Yeah.
Well, apparently she was like Phil Collins. She was one of the screaming fans in A Hard Day's Night. In the all the crowd that they had in the theater at the end, because that's Phil Collins is one of his claims to fame.
And our other half was Jim Cregan, who was a great guitar player
With Rod Stewart.
with Rod Stewart.
Oh yeah, I remember him too. Yeah, so R.I.P. Linda Lewis, though. That's a real shame. Yeah,
It is. Oh, bless her.
Yeah.
Passed away in May.
Great singer, great person.
Yeah.
And it's things like that that really intrigue me when I talk to you guys. You a name will come up like that, someone I'd completely forgotten about, but you guys knew and worked with, and I love to keep that stuff alive. She deserves to be known and remembered. And she herself worked with a whole bunch of different great acts.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah. Guys like Bowie, David Bowie and Rod Stewart. You mentioned Rod Stewart. Yeah.
Well, Granny mentioned earlier about the Golden Lion. She was, one of the people, her and Jim, used to hang out at the Golden Lion as well. You know, Jim Cregan and Linda
Yeah.
Lewis. You know,
This is the
along
Golden.
with Roger Chapman from The Family.
Oh, the family, yeah,
Yeah.
burlesque. I remember that.
One
very
of
well.
our favorites, wasn't it, Grange?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
loved
the
'em.
Golden. This is the Golden Lion in King's Cross.
No,
area?
it
No.
was the Fulham Broadway.
Oh, Fulham Broadway. Hang on. Oh yeah, two different.
When I was in
Golden Lines.
England last year, I made a little trip down there and took a picture of it. It's not a pub anymore, but oh yeah, the memories. Manticore just around the corner. I can send you pictures of all this stuff. That's not it. That's a different one.
That's not it.
Okay, that's the one. It says Golden Lion Fulham. That's why I'm.
No,
It
the
looks good,
Golden
though.
Lion Fulham Broadway.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Because the other one I was looking at was I'm just trying to find it and see if we can, for the benefit of our viewers. Because is it that one?
Nope.
No,
No. So there's multiple Golden Lines.
probably.
Eventually, I'll figure it out.
There's a picture Granny put up of Rocky standing
Yeah.
on the steps of a pub, and that is the Golden Lion Fulham
Yeah.
Broadway.
Okay, so there's multiple Golden Lions in London. I'm sure eventually I'll figure it out.
Fulham Broadway.
The Hand in Flower's still there.
Yeah.
It's
Kensington,
not called.
yeah.
It's not called the Slug now, is it, or something like that?
Quite possibly.
Plug and lettuce.
Yeah.
Slug and lettuce or something. Yeah. Anyway, we will return to that another time when I've identified the correct. That's the problem with England, though. Like you'll get a pub name and there'll be 500 of them.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah. But
Although
that was all-
unfortunately, we're losing lots of pubs with the economy and the taxation and stuff. A friend of mine's a member of CAMRA, Campaign for Real Ale, and we drive around. It's really sad. You see lots and lots of pubs are being closed, or if they're not demolished, they're turned into flats and stuff. There's not as many pubs as there used to be.
Yeah, they turned them into, a lot of them are chains now. So your Weatherspoons and your whatever, you've lost the character.
The wet pubs are very few and far between.
Mm.
That just serve booze. You know, the ones that have survived are the sort of restaurant pubs, more like, you know. But there's a few here. I was at one just the other night in the Hole in the Wall in Torquay. Wilco's been there, and it's a beautiful, classic, real pub. You know.
Well, that's what I on my holidays in between train spotting. My friend Sig, who's also from Hartlepool, another train spotter, he and I go off in the country. He knows where all of these classic pubs are. We go to one on the Wirral, which is near Liverpool.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like you can't believe it's real. You're sitting in there, a wet dog by the fire. It's just got the atmosphere. It's from the 1600s, and I don't want to leave. So there are still some good
love
ones.
that. Yeah, I mean
that's good one to survive.
It was still like that even when I was growing up. I mean, there were still great pubs, and I'm a bit behind you guys.
That's a good thing.
I'm trying to think of the pub in Cornwall that I absolutely thought was incredible. The one where they used to press gang people into the Navy.
Oh, is that in Plymouth? Is that in Plymouth?
It's a little village north of there, further up the coast. Oh shoot, it'll come back to me.
Yeah,
we'll do an episode on pubs.
We should.
Yeah. But Deal Kent, they've got some beautiful pubs. Beautiful pubs. You can just see the Navy being in those pubs.
Yeah,
Mal's local.
Yeah, the Stag, Grange. Thank you.
I got my collection of beer mats here.
That's the pub with the view. Look out the window of my local. You can see the coastline of France.
There you
go.
I have my favorite
the
beer
Royal
mats.
Marines. Just this weekend, back to music. This is just this weekend gone. The Royal Marines band do a gig there every July. It was just fantastic. The Royal Marines brass band.
Oh yeah,
and
very British, very British.
There.
Love it.
Honestly, it's a free gig on the green. I would have paid to see this. I would have paid to see it. It was fantastic. The quality of the musicians in this band and the music was just fantastic. And that's that's probably the first concert I've seen, or kind of thing I've seen, apart from coming to see Mark one night and Wishbone Ash, in 20 years.
Wow.
It was just incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible.
it's a beautiful
So
sound. The brass band.
everybody, next year, July, go and see the Royal Marine Band play in Deal.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll be there.
brass
I'll be
bands are
there.
fine, but you can't beat the pipes, you know.
Hey, let
Well,
The pipes,
They
the
are,
pipes are
they are
gone.
the Scottish Royal Marines.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, the
And the
bagpipes
drummers,
are actually
the
Turkish.
drummers are just
There you go.
incredible.
Right. This is the place I was thinking of. It's possibly one of my favorite pubs of all time, the
Napoleon
Napoleon Inn in Boscastle or
Boscastle. All right,
and they used
great.
to press gang people into the navy in here. But it's the
Well-
16th century, and they don't have pumps for the beer. It's still in casks, and the
Brilliant.
tap in the casks. So
Right.
yeah, great place.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, Mark, you may well have been in there. It's not.
I haven't
next-
actually been there, but yeah, I know Boscastle. Yeah, it's
Yeah, beautiful little place.
Once you get down to Cornwall, it's so nook and cranny. It's
great.
it's another world, moving further out than I am, which is pretty far.
Rah.
Cornwall is a gorgeous place, gorgeous part of the country. So is where you are in Devon. But,
Well,
Yeah.
Cornwall, they consider themselves a foreign country. I was on a holiday
Cornwall,
and I stopped for
Cornwall.
directions.
Cornwall.
And the bloke says, where you from? I said, well, I'm from Hartlepool originally. He goes, I sometimes go up to England.
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, I know what you mean. Yeah, they
But
consider
they do have a
themselves
language. They do have a language,
Yeah.
a forgotten language. But
a
Cornish,
connection
yeah.
to Brittany as well. There's some sort of language connection with Brittany.
yeah, it's
so-
Gaelic.
Yeah.
Not Britney Spears. No, I knew you were going to say that, Brian. I beat you to it.
Couldn't help it. Couldn't help it. Yeah, but yeah, the we could do an entire show in pubs. Absolutely, yes. And,
But we have to
Gigs
go to
in
pubs.
pubs.
We should do it from pubs. We
We used
should
to have a
really-
good stripper at the Golden Line. Remember, once
Golden
a week,
Line.
they have a stripper.
Strippers at lunchtime.
those were the
Lunchtime
days.
Well, it was a
strippers.
sensitive audience.
Fantastic.
I thought that was you guys. You were the strippers,
done-
weren't you?
I've got my
Wait,
share of
more
that.
than once,
That is
especially
right.
Grange. Especially Grange. He used to like to get his kit off
Oh,
in
yeah.
public.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I never
Yeah.
did that. I never ever did that. But back to
Liar.
music, guys.
Oh, yeah,
The
rock and roll.
Hartlepool Tall ships. They had the big brass bands. They had all the Navy bands coming out. I mean, they did a whole parade. It was just amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's for rock and roll, and then to see that, and as you said, the musicianship in them all, you know,
Yeah.
you know, it's fantastic.
Yeah, my
That's
dad
what
learned
this
it.
Marine band were like on Sunday. Just, you know, the drummers, they feature these 7 drummers get a big feature. And as the conductor said, they get the most amount of applause for the least amount of work.
Yeah.
But they are fantastic, and they march off as the drummers do this at the end of the show, and they march off the stage into the pub where the
Yeah.
beers are lined up waiting for them,
Yeah.
Nice.
and that's the end of the show, which is fantastic.
There you go.
That's
There
the
you
tall
go.
ships. And
Yo,
you've got Wilco playing the guitar underneath.
Yeah. There I am doing the guitar. No, I'm in the middle.
Are you in the middle? Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not
we're
quite
going
sure
out
what
between your legs.
quite sure
sure
what's
what that
going
is.
on. Yeah.
I think
That's
he has
what-
a hernia.
Yeah.
Some kind of
That's what
deformity,
Peter Watts will do for you.
It's a goiter.
some kind of deformity common to Hartlepool by the looks of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ride a dolphin.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah,
yeah,
the tall ships was pretty good, guys. It was did a good job.
yeah. You know how you can tell it's in Hartlepool? Because the sky is grey.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah,
I've
I
been
agree
in 2
with you,
weeks. I've
Brian.
had 3 days of sun.
Yeah.
You know,
It's,
it rains every day, and about 3 o'clock the sun comes out.
it must have been a great experience, though. I mean, I have seen them before years ago, but this is
Yeah.
special. And the band, you were saying there was a lot of bands playing.
Well, they did a whole parade
Hmm.
on the Friday, no Saturday, the main day, but it rained all day. I got soaked and I went home sulking. And then on Sunday was they all left, and it was brilliant. They're all in the ocean. There you go. There
Oh,
you
that's
go.
old Hartlepool. That's down by the headland.
Yeah,
That's
but
on the
it's,
headland there.
that's where they all started from.
That's where I brought. That's where I was brought up.
Me and Mal, we're real Hartlepoolians.
We're
Wilco's from
from
West
there.
Hartlepool.
Hartlepool.
Hartlepoolians.
Upcomers, you know,
Yeah,
upstarts.
but you
You're
guys
not.
are gay, I'm not.
You're not Hartlepoolers, you're Hartlepoolians.
We are real.
Yes.
Me and Mal are real Hartlepool.
No,
Yeah.
I'm a Bellevue and a Wagga. I used
Yeah,
to eat
yeah.
skins for my breakfast.
I see
But
they've got
that was pretty cool
a.
because at the headland, the funny thing was, from the headland, you could actually see the ships full sail better than anywhere else in
Yeah.
Hartlepool.
Well, yeah.
West Hartlepool, whatever, you know.
Yeah, and there's ships and bands from all over the world, isn't there? There was like from everywhere.
It's some kind of race. They left on Sunday at 2:00 for a race back into Stockholm or somewhere.
Yeah, incredible stuff.
To
That's
go
neat.
around the world. It's just amazing.
Well, we
Yeah,
also
it's neat
went,
to
we also
see.
went to the Brixton Pirate Weekend, didn't we, when everyone was
Oh,
down.
yeah.
here
Yeah.
recording.
We all went to
That
that.
was-
It's been a right old,
Where's the pictures? Where's the pictures of that? I've got some pictures.
I've got some.
You
I
haven't
can-
posted
Yeah,
them.
I've got some pictures. Well, we better give them to Brian.
Indeed.
I will
Post them.
forward. Brian's going to get a package from me. Not that kind of package.
I don't- Special delivery. As long
Hey,
as long as
you be careful with your back.
as long as it's not through the back door, then we're good.
Oh.
What
That's,
about Backdoor? Who remembers Backdoor?
Yeah, me too. I was
Yeah,
just playing the album the
fantastic
other day.
band.
I went up to this pub right up in the, I don't know where the hell it was. My brother
Blakey
drove.
Ridge.
What's that?
It was at Blakey Ridge up on the North Yorkshire Moors.
Back door.
wow.
Back door used to play in a pub once in his little room in a pub up in the top of the moors. You
But,
couldn't get
what
there in
the-
the winter.
It was called the Lion Inn.
Yeah, at Blakey Ridge.
It's
Who was in back door?
Yeah,
Backdoor,
the
the jazz band.
Johnny Rogers worked for them. I did a couple of gigs with them. So I'm looking at the T-shirts because I buy T-shirts for me and my son, and he's the album Backdoor. So I was like, "What's that doing here?" And he goes, "Oh well, there's only one of them left, and he comes in here regular."
Yeah.
And
The-
anyway, so we talked about Backdoor for the whole lunch I was there. It was fantastic. You know,
Were they a trio, or are we
Yeah.
talking?
yeah,
about-
they were a trio. Out of
Ron
Middlesbrough.
Asbury on saxophone,
Tony-
Colin Hicks on drums,
Yeah.
And
Colin
and
Hicks.
Colin Hodgkinson on bass.
There you go.
Yes. Great bass player.
Yeah, that's it.
see, that's
Yeah.
interesting because again, like you mentioned, bands that didn't really feature guitars, and I know some of you worked with Van der Graaf Generator, wasn't a guitar band, and there's another one. There's no guitar. Yeah.
Well, they were a phenomenon at the time. This is about 1971. I've actually got 2 copies of the album. When they first released the album, it was a private release, but then they must have got a record deal, and then they got a better cover picture on the album cover. But they played originally in this little pub up on the
Want
moors.
to go for a pint after this?
So really, they're just playing it. I mean, who would know that a band was even playing up there? I mean, it's pretty remote.
The sax player was like a
know.
phenomenon. He played in the Johnny Dankworth band, I think.
Oh yeah,
Ron
There you go.
Asbury. He was like a virtuoso.
yeah.
Yeah,
Johnny
it was-
Dankworth, Cleo Lane, all that.
Yeah.
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 And the bass player was just a fantastic bass player.
He's still on the road. I've just gone blank on who he's with now, though. He's actually on tour
Is
with a
it Greg Lyons? Was his name? Is it
No,
Greg
no,
Lyons?
Colin Hodgkinson.
Colin Hodgkinson. So this is a band that really they're a jazz band.
There's
It's
only
not,
one
rock, it's not rock and roll.
No, no.
It weren't rock and roll, no, and it weren't prog rock. It was just, yeah,
Art rock,
but
art jazz
yeah,
rock.
art rock, art rock. Everybody loved them. You know, they were a musos band.
Yeah.
They really
If you
were. I
liked
mean,
music, you
the
liked
actual
it.
back door of this Lion Inn was where they got the photograph taken for the first album.
Right.
You know, it's fantastic up there. I mean, you obviously been up there, Grinch. It's unbelievable.
So
Yeah.
you guys just saw them in this bar. I mean, in this pub up in.
Yeah, no, there was the album cover, but the band, this back door they got the photograph taken for the album cover back in the day,
Mm.
and they used to go and play there all the time.
I don't know that they ever did real big tours,
They were
but they
from
were.
Middlesbrough. They were
Yeah.
from Middlesbrough originally,
yeah,
weren't they?
Yeah. Johnny Rogers did the sound for them
Yeah,
for about 2 years, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's quite incredible because I honestly I don't remember them at all, and I wasn't really into jazzy stuff particularly. So why would I? But
There
No,
might
if
be
you
a bit
listen
of an
to them,
acquired
you'll
taste,
enjoy
Brian,
it.
like Van der Graaf. You don't just get
Yeah.
into that. Backdoor was virtuosic, bass player virtuoso. Everything was like
Soft
virtuoso.
machine.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I had to work hard to get into Van der Graaf.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
true. It took me
I
a
know.
long time. And Pete Hamill, I'm a bit of a Pete Hamill fan. But yeah, it's
Did I send
different.
you that picture of Peter Hamill?
I think you might have. I'm
Yeah.
going to go look for that while you guys.
Look at the posters behind him. We're in Quebec.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let me just.
Fufun
I've got that.
Electric.
I've got
There's a
that. Hang
picture
on.
of. There's just a picture of Peter on
Yeah.
his own, and somewhere I took it somewhere. We're backstage,
Oh, I got it,
and
mate.
it's
Yeah.
in Quebec.
That here it is. Yeah, I was trying to figure. I saw it was Quebec, and I was thinking, is it Montreal? Is it? Let me show that in the stream. There's Pete Hamill. Yeah.
There we go.
Now,
He's a good
mainly
looking chap, wasn't he?
played a lot of piano, but he was quite a good guitar player too. Whenever there was
He
any
was.
guitar
He
in
was.
Van
He
der
was
Graaf,
all about chords and chord sequences.
yeah.
Here's my
rather
question:
than-
Is what's in that can on it to his right? It's like a can of roach killer or something.
It's
Yeah, it probably was dressing rooms. You
well,
know,
I think it's actually some kind of window cleaner.
It's a window
no,
cleaner.
it's probably roach cleaner.
Well, you
That's
could
a
also
regular.
sniff the pressure, the gas.
Yeah.
Maybe it was for.
Now, Pete is still
Well,
with
you
us.
might.
So luckily, Pete Hamill's still around, still
Yeah.
with us, I think. Dustin's asking a little bit of a question. And it's a question I've asked a few times in different ways of you guys on the streams. What kind of relationships did you build with all these bands over the years? Were they friends? Were they people you worked for? I mean, different. They're all different, but how would you answer
Yeah,
that?
I always found that working with bands very closely, especially doing the sound, because it becomes almost like a fifth member of the band. So it's a very close relationship to work with these guys, and everyone's got to get on. So unless you fit, unless you sort of get on, then But that's probably the main thing, isn't it? Sort of like just.
Well,
Yeah.
it would depend on how much touring you were doing, because if you didn't have a lot of free time, you weren't getting to see them doing anything else. So
Well,
some
so-
bands you
so,
had
yeah.
a working relationship. Guys like the
Yeah.
Average White Band, known them for decades, and I would say got quite a good friendship with some of those guys.
Oh, a
Most
huge
bands,
friendship.
it was
A huge friendship
close,
with the
but-
White Band.
Yeah.
All of us have got a
Right.
great
Do you
A
relationship.
still
lot of
talk to
bands, it
them?
was the tour.
Still talk to them regularly
Not on a
today?
daily
like,
basis, but we do catch up with them. It's
Mm.
it's like
Yeah,
no
I
time
mean-
has passed. It's like
I mean, as these guys know, I keep in touch with everybody. Even the Tremolos. I mean, I'm seeing Lynn Blakely in a month. I'm
Yeah, and we're going to do a Tremolos special.
And
Definitely.
you're going to do a Tremolo special. There's only Len and Rick left. But I spoke to Len last week, and he's in and out of hospital. The Average White Band speak to all the time. The Allman Brothers, I can't talk to them anymore. The Brown Bread, So it's when I go on tour, I just go and do the job, but have a great laugh with everybody. Just
What's Gunner doing behind you? What's he? Looks like
he's playing with himself. Looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like he's playing with his Tadger.
So
He's
he's
not
got-
good
he's
now.
got-
We made him embarrassed.
On tour.
He
Smoke
should be watching the stream on his phone and typing in the chat,
Yeah.
like insulting you in the chat.
I'm getting stuff on my phone from people that are watching this right now.
Great, yeah. And if
Hello out there.
Yeah.
well, if we appreciate
watching.
everyone watching, thank you. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel,
Hi, Mark.
and leave a chat if you can. Say something in the chat if you get the chance. I know
say
a lot of people
something,
watch on
yeah.
mobile.
Like Phil did. Phil was obviously watching because he put something up.
He did, and it was we were one of this
think
is
it was
one of the
that.
reasons we want to do
Yeah.
this live show is to
he said you
build up.
fell out. He fell out over that, so he probably fucked off.
I don't think you're going to see his house in September, mate.
Yeah. No. I've told him the pool should be warm by the time I get there in September. It's about 36 degrees there today or something.
Yeah, well,
Crazy.
it's-
I couldn't handle it. It was 110 degrees when I was there with Ernie. I was like, the last month.
You're
was just
talking,
gone.
yeah, but you're talking 2 different degrees there.
Yeah. No. It was an hour and a half from me, and it was just
Fucking
2
hot,
different
whichever.
ball games.
So there's another guy that Granny's introduced to me that now on my show on Monday on my channel, I'm going to have this guy as a guest, but he'll obviously be appearing on here at some point in the future too. It's this gentleman. And he's giving us his best Adam's Family impression. Sorry, Peter, if you're watching.
No, he used to have an enormous like head of black hair.
Yeah.
And when if you remember, I knew him with Stack Ridge, which was a really quirky West Country, more Appalachian stuff. The West,
I love
and
Stack Ridge.
he used to come on during the show, and there was a song they did, and he would bang 2 trash can lids together.
I'm gonna clip that for the show on Monday.
There you go.
The trash
So
cans. So this is Mr. Peter Donovan.
Yeah.
I saved his life. I literally saved his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peter Donovan told me, I can't remember. And it was coming out of Helen Parford's apartment, Craigsley's, I believe, at the time, at the top floor, and went down the basement to put all the empty half gallons of vodka and whatever we've been drinking. And Pete, he's about 6'3" or something, and he just looks over the balcony to look at the basement and falls. And I caught him.
I didn't know this.
No, he told me about it 5 years ago. I'm going, you kid? I mean, I caught you? He goes, yeah, you caught me. If you hadn't caught me, I wouldn't be here today.
Down on the railings.
I was like, oh, here you go, you know.
Yeah, on those railings outside.
Yeah. But the funniest with Donovan, we went up to San Francisco, and we always meet. We always get together, same as you, Granny. You know, we always.
No.
So we went out for dinner that night, and I was staying on his couch. And I'm looking, he's got his arms like that, and his sleeves were coming up to here of his shirt. And I went, what's going on here? He goes, oh, you know, he's trying to pull them down and stuff. And he ran a big lighting company, and he was the boss and everything. And he'd been to work in his shit. And I was like, well, what's the story? You got to tell me what the F's going on with this. He goes, I went and saw my mum last week, and I just came home, and she put all these shirts back in my suitcase. I thought I'd wear one today. His sleeves are up here.
Hey,
he must have worn it when he was 10, you know.
So you saved his life, Wilco, which is proof that not all heroes wear capes.
That's right.
Speaking of which, the T-shirts I'm wearing tonight is from the Page and Planned.
Hang on. Never heard of them. Who are they?
Oh, God, I'm trying to do that the wrong way around.
The other side, yeah.
Rubber Plant.
You're just
Jimmy
showing your
Page.
best stuff now.
Rubber Plant Jimmy Page, 95.
You kept that one.
Right? And this never fitted me. Brian, I sent you a picture of me talking to Robert backstage in
I got it, yeah.
Glastonbury.
Oh,
I'm wearing the shirt. It's too big. I've got it tucked into my pants because it was too big.
Hang on.
It was like a sack on me. You know, there. I'm wearing that same shirt right now.
And it fits, right?
So either you've shrunk or, you know.
No,
something's changed.
no. This is something my wife didn't shrink.
All right.
She shrank everything else.
So this was Glastonbury
including
Festival.
My vital parts.
All right, yeah. Well, I mean, they were too big as it was. I mean, they were fearsome, really. So.
We have the photographic proof.
Yeah.
That
guy in the background is Paul, and he used to be the guitar player with The Cure.
Sorry, which one?
With this playing guitar.
Way back here?
Yeah.
No, to the left, holding the child.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah,
because he was playing lead child that day.
Yeah,
instead of lead guitar. Yeah,
yeah.
So that's
he was cool. He was a cool guy. You know, he was into his yoga and meditation, and he taught me a lot about breathing to help my blood pressure.
Oh yeah. So who's the guy with the white T-shirt on?
Binsey. He was Robert's minder.
Right.
He was called Binsey.
Yeah.
And he's kind of old school, London on the fringe of
Being a murderer.
yeah.
Right, okay.
Was
Well,
he a
that's what you
made
want.
guy?
That's what you want for security. Was he a friend of the Cray twins, perhaps?
No, not the craze, but you know, if I say Brinks Matt,
Yeah,
oh, there we go.
yeah.
That's
And
been
Rangy,
slightly photoshopped,
that's-
isn't it?
There's
That's-
Mr. Cabishley.
For those that can't recognize people, that's Robert Plant, myself. The guy next to me is a guy called Rangy, and he was from New Zealand, and he was Jimmy's manager, minder.
Yeah.
And Bill Kerbishley in the check shirt there
is that
is
Bill
the
Kerbishley?
manager of
Yeah, good old
Robert
Because he was the
Plant
Who's
and
manager too,
and
wasn't
the Who.
Yeah, I know the name. I've never seen it.
Rangy was this Kiwi. Oh man, he was like tough. He was tough,
Mm.
yeah, but very, very nice guy. Honestly, Rangy, I love you. Don't come looking for me.
Don't kill me.
Well, yeah, I mean, you must have, over the years, because I haven't heard a lot of tall tales about the British pop and rock industry in the early days with heavy guys like Don Arden and guys like that. You must have met a few tough guys in your time.
Yeah, Don Arden. Yeah, I got a couple of stories about him, Mr. Don Arden. In
Mm.
fact, he did the first
me
gig
too.
with Ellis.
Better not tell him.
He hung Steve
did.
Marriott out a window, they say once, but you know.
Well, I walked into the box office, my first ever gig. It was down south somewhere. I can't even remember where it was. And he goes, "What do you want?" I said, "I want pay." And he goes, "Get the F out of here." And it was the first time I was like, "Oh, I'm going to get the fuck out of here," you know. So I just left. And the actual manager came with his granny. What was his name?
What band was this?
Ellis.
Oh God!
Steve Ellis.
Did he have a manager?
Yeah, of course he did. Anyway, so he was in the audience and he went, "So did you get the money?" I went, "No, Don Arden's not going to give it to me." He goes, "I'll go and sort him out." So he was there about 2 seconds. He was like throwing out the fucking out of the office.
Yeah.
Well, that was like
I
the
had a bit of
introduction
a
to
close-
Don Arden, and you know. But Don Arden used to own the ground, you know. Don't know if you knew that. He was totally involved with all that stuff.
So Mark, sorry, you were
Yeah,
going to say something.
I had a bit of an incident which almost got violent. With I was promoting bands in the late '80s, and there's a band called Bad Manners. I don't know whether you guys
Oh,
are familiar with them.
I've seen them live.
And
In
they're
fact,
lead-
I booked them for a gig when I was in the RAF at the Social Club.
Well, I wonder whether your experience was similar to mine. I booked them along with a mate of mine called Tony Beard, and he knew Buster Bloodvessel, who's the lead guy, big fucking
Oh God, lip up
Monster.
fatty, lip up fatty.
yeah. Anyway, I didn't even bother with the show. I saw it start, and I went home. So anyway, it wasn't a very successful sellout. So Tony tried to pay him with a check, 1,200 quid, I think it was, and he said, "I'm not taking that from Tony. I know him too well." So he didn't trust this mate of mine who helped me book the band. So anyway, I'm at home having some supper with my lady, and bang at the front door, and the whole band come into my very sort of small flat at the time and demanding the money, and which was kind of hairy. And I mean, there's a small lounge with and there's all these. Yeah, here he is, fucker. And they were really pissed off, and it's like, "Well, you got a Jag outside. I'll take the car." I'm like, no, I'll go to the bank, get your money. So this came up the other day at a party. I met a guy who was the security guy, who was one of my security guys during those gigs. And anyway, Big Larry followed them to my house in a car and parked outside. And then he escorted me to the bank to get the money. And we paid them and got rid of the fuckers. But they were threatening really nasty. I fucking hope I never run into those bastards again, to be honest.
Well, they're probably a lot older and slower now.
Shit happens. People get pissed off, especially about money.
Oh.
Well, so many bands have been ripped off in the past. And I would never.
That's right. I mean, he knew this partner of mine from past and didn't trust him, so I didn't know that.
Mm.
You know, so anyway,
Yeah, there's
So
going to
cool.
be there's going to be some rough stories. I do remember the one the Don Arden famous story is when he hung Steve Marriott out of a window because Steve had asked for if they could get a pay raise. He literally hang him out of a window. Now that's what they say. Whether it happened or not, I don't know.
I've got a kind of Don Arden connection story. I work for a band called Steve Village.
Oh, Steve, I love Steve Village.
And we were doing he was with Virgin Records, and we were doing the first ever tour of America that a Virgin artist had done. And we were in LA to start off. We were the support band for ELO, who were managed by Don Arden.
Yes.
And we were in the Rainbow in LA the night before the tour, or a couple of nights before the tour started. I was meeting up with the guys, to get, and we were in LA in the Rainbow, and this guy started mouthing off at Sharon Arden,
Sharon Osbourne,
who later became Sharon Osbourne. And Bernie, their tour manager, just stood up, hit this guy. The guy went down. He broke his jaw, right? Bernie broke this guy's jaw. And he said, "You will be in here tomorrow to apologize about what you said," because he was being derogatory about Sharon and Don Arden.
Oh dear.
So it moved in the family, I think,
Yeah, I wouldn't want to cross them. I definitely would not.
And the guys used to wind me up. And that night, Bernie was winding me up, saying, "You've got to do the business with Sharon, otherwise you guys ain't coming on the tour." I said, "I'm not going to do. There's no.
What kind of business are we talking about here?
There's no way I'm going to be doing this." Yeah. And they were just winding me up. But the next night, the guy was in the Rainbow again with his jaw wired up, apologizing.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So that's Steve Village there, a great guitar player. I've actually got some of his albums. He's fantastic. You would call it kind of like spaced out progressive rock.
He's ripped off my hairstyle.
I think the album was called L.
That's
just
right.
the letter L,
I've
got a credit on that album.
Nice. I do. I'm going to go look at that because I've got that album.
I've got accreditation.
And then he did a punk thing with I can't remember who it was. One of the punk bands from London. He actually did some work with them. Oh God, the name escapes me now.
Great guitar player.
If the kids are united, if the kids are united, Sham 69. He did a tour with Sham 69.
Yeah, he was a great guitar player.
Oh, Steve Village was great. Yeah, I love it. He did a fantastic cover of "It's All Too Much," the Beatles song. Brilliant psychedelic cover of that. Yeah. Anyway,
that was Virgin's very first tour of America. Virgin label.
Yeah, which was they wouldn't know what they were looking at because there's no such thing as a Virgin in America.
That's right.
Not in those days.
Not once you guys had been there.
Especially, we'd been there a few years before.
And a few years after.
Yeah. Who got there first? Who went first to America?
Mal.
Craigsy.
Yeah, 71. I don't know. It wasn't a race, but
no, I think we'd done a similar, the same.
It was all
possibly
about
the same tour, Mark.
Yeah.
Because I was working with Vinegar Joe, and we done some supports with you guys
on that first tour.
Yeah.
On that first tour.
And we had the same agent back in England, which was John Sherry.
John Sherry organisation.
So
that's what I'm saying. That's how we got to know a lot of the bands were all under the same umbrella.
I think that was 71, 72.
71.
So yeah, I think we hit America about the same time.
They had no idea what they were letting themselves in for.
Really? Well, it was great because it was such a shock, and all the girls. I mean, Mal will testify. I mean, as soon as you open your mouth with the accent, that's I love your accent. That was it, you know. And then you didn't really have to do too much more work. did you,
Don't
Granny?
talk with your mouth full.
It was just such a culture shock to me. You know, I mean, it was like a comedy sketch. You couldn't make this up. First night, we flew into Philadelphia. Me, Dave, Vicky, who you guys know, we get in the car, we're driving, going for something to eat. 3 police cars pull us over. We stop. So we've got 6 cops around us with their guns pointing at us, saying, "Assume the position." We're saying, "What
Which
are you
position is that?
talking about? Assume the." We thought,
Over the
what,
kitchen
are these some kind of sexual things? What is going on here? You know, assume the position.
Yeah. And did you assume the position?
Of course we did, darling.
I said I never assume anything.
But some guys fitting our description had just robbed a liquor store up the road.
But did they have your accents?
No.
Nah.
Probably how you got out of it.
And so,
See, that would be a good episode.
They went, okay, fine, you're not the guys. So that was the first night in America. You know, you hear all these stories. That was my
Only
first
gig in
night in
Philadelphia.
America.
Welcome to the land of the
The
free.
next night, we done a show at the Tower Theatre in Philadelphia with Lou Reed's band, Velvet Underground.
The Velvet Underpants, yeah.
Yeah.
Velvet
Then
Underpants.
the next day, we went up to New York. We get invited. We were with Atlantic Records, so we get invited. Steve Stills, the Atlantic are throwing a party for Steve Stills. He's just got married, so they're throwing a party at the Gramercy Park or wherever it was. We went to this party, and I go for a leak in the bathroom, and there's these guys with this bag of cocaine. Huge bag of cocaine,
I'm
not a
shocked.
small bag, a big bag. And they're huge. All they're doing is putting their hands in and going
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
like this at their faces.
Not that we're condoning such behaviour,
look-
of course.
You know,
I'm shocked.
and I'm like, I'm trying to piss, looking at these guys, thinking, oh my God,
Whole
what is
different
going
world,
on
eh?
here?
Different
You know,
world.
and then they look at and they go, hey, you want some? And I go, shit.
And you're in
that would
your,
be-
what,
no,
you're
no,
21,
I've done
22?
that for
Emily?
years, you know,
Yeah.
first tour.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Talk about in the deep end, eh?
Things did change.
See, that would be an episode on its own. Our first
finished.
Oh,
tours.
yes, that
It
did.
would, yeah. We'll do first tours, yeah. So what we're gonna we're gonna wrap up shortly, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's going to be over the weeks and months. There's all sorts of great topics. First tours, best acts you work with, acts you never worked with that you wanted to. Topics on specific bands. Hopefully, we can persuade some of those people you're still in touch with to perhaps join us one day on a stream. You know, and we can talk about their music and your experiences on those tours. Festivals you did. You know, you guys did some of the biggest festivals in history, you know, and biggest festival venues, especially in this.
Festival.
Yeah, I mean, and other
Iconic
things you
music
guys have
festival
done.
and Festival.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have done other stuff too. I know Wilco, you've done the movie stuff and you know, film festivals. Yeah, so so much to talk about. We could go on forever, but
Are we doing this next week? Yeah.
if
We
you
do
wish,
this every
if you
Thursday,
want
right?
to.
Thursday, Mark.
So
Every
yeah,
Thursday.
so for those out there who are watching live or on replay, yeah, we're intending to do this weekly from now on, Thursday at this time. I won't say which time because we're all in different time zones.
8 o'clock. Yeah.
And the way Wilco moves about, it could be in any time zone, you know.
Mr.
Yeah, I'm going to be with Emery next week, Cragsy in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We're back
So
up at Sconner's studio.
so those of you guys who wish to be or are available will be with us, and hopefully I'll be hosting. So yeah, lots to come on the Rock and Roll Rowdies channel. Please leave a like, everyone that's watched, or if you're watching this replay, leave a like. It helps with the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. Share out the streams. Go watch the other content on the channel, which we're Mark's been brilliant at putting stuff up there. There's lots of great interviews, videos about various things. So we're going to build on that start. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you to everyone that's been in the chat today, chatting away, and thank you for joining us, guys. Any last words?
Good night. Go to the pub.
Thanks for listening.
So we're all gonna
Go to the
go
pub
and do
with
other.
Connor. Ben.
But I'd like to
Ben.
thank you guys, the Rowdies, for all these wonderful stories, for allowing me to be a part of it. It's been a blast for me, and I'm looking forward to much more. And who knows what the future may
Who
bring?
knows?
Lots
Ryan
more
is a
to come.
large story.
Lots more to
We
come.
haven't even scratched the surface, mate.
That's
we've
This
right.
is an introduction.
Scratch and
Thank you
sniff.
all
We haven't
very
even
much.
done that yet.
Scratch and sniff. Don't mention sniffing.
No, Wilco's right. We haven't scratched the surface yet. There's so much great stuff we can talk about, and we will in the future. So till then, everybody, keep on rocking, and thank you for being with us. We will see you next.